Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Annalisa with Stitchcraft Marketing and joined here with my fellow account manager, Rebecca. And this is our monthly office hours session. We Every month we pick a topic that we think that you should know more about, or something that's relevant to you. And we like to give just a short little bite-sized 10 to 15-minute presentation, give you a chance to ask us questions, basically get some free advice. Um, Today's presentation is built upon a blog post that just went up, and it's about working with influencers as a shop owner. So you can see there, it's working with influencers as a shop owner. We have the link included. That'll also be included in the links below. This will also be posted to our YouTube channel, where you can see past office hours and get caught up on all sorts of good little nuggets of information. So how did we get here? The influencers have been a really strange beast, right? And for so long, we haven't really talked about them in the crafting influence. You always hear about influencers as in social media, in beauty, or in photography, different things. So what has happened in the crafting world in the past couple of years that we have this rise in influencer marketing? I hate to say it, it's one of those things where it's the pandemic again. It always comes back to 2020, right, guys? So the pandemic comes back. That's a bunch of economic turbulence. That is everything from now we can't have in-person shows. So how are we going to sell things? Where are the teachers going to teach? Those sources of revenue and those people that need that information have been on pause for years. So what are they going to do? Manufacturers who also rely on those shows and also rely on those um, forms of revenue, those places to get communication, marketing, all those sorts of things, they're also looking to maintain their cash flow. So all of these things happen with 2020 over the next couple of years. The shows that go down, the teaching gigs go down, influencers rise up out of all of that turbulence. Okay, so I say influencer. I'm going to throw this term around. What do we really think an influencer is? An influencer is someone who has the ability to affect how you buy something. Why can they do that? Why do they hold such sway over people? If I don't know them, why am I listening to them? Because they are very good at communicating either through their authority in the subject matter, their knowledge, or their trust that they've built with their audience, that we should listen to them. So maybe they have a book out. Maybe they are a pattern designer. Maybe they are part of manufacturing. Maybe they work for Bernina and we know that we should trust them. There's all sorts of different ways that people become influencers in different parts of the industry. So it's all the people that have been affected over the past couple of years, which touches all parts of the craft industry, right? We have people that are affected by shows going down, or we have people who are affected by magazines. So even the people that work within maybe those publications, they're a source that you can know and trust. How many people can follow the editor or one of the behind the scenes staff of your favorite magazines? How many people know who the editor is of American Patchwork and Quilting and can follow them on Instagram? That can be an influencer. So, but there's also influencers who are prominent shops. So who's a big name shop that maybe touches in those other places too, but just through the sheer volume of what they do, or maybe they have a huge YouTube personality or YouTube profile. Maybe they're a prominent shop and they also have these other things going on. Influencers come from a variety of different ways, but however you found them, they know how to take their trust in you, or their trust from their viewers, and turn it into sales. So the key thing when you're talking about influencers and when you're working with them is that you're working with them, right? So it's I liken it back to a lot of the things that happened when there was the rise of online shops, and a lot of the brick and mortars were like, we can't have online shops. They are not the same as you, but that's not mean that they don't have good ideas or you can't work with them. So it's like television and radio. You're both talking to people, but they're not going to be the same way, right? But if you collaborate with them, they have a great pool a great audience of interested customers. And if they can use you as a resource and you can use them, you can create some great symbiosis, some great things going on. So, what about a custom yarn color? How many of you have seen that? Or a curated subscription box? I know I've seen that too. Um, there's other things where you don't have to do work with them directly. What if they're hosting a new kit, or showing a new kit, and you create a kit, here's a 5 skein kit for to make this newest shawl pattern, or there's going to be a quilt along, and I have a kit that will work so you can participate in the quilt along. So even if you don't work with them directly, there's a way to utilize their pull and utilize what they're doing to make it part of your plan and your marketing plan for your company. The other thing, influencers are largely online. So people want that connection. They want to come to your store. They want to have that personal touch. Create an in-person event that goes along with an influencer event. Have a sew along night. Have a release party where everyone gets to start knitting at the same time. You can also, the easiest way and the lowest effort version, which I love, is contact the influencers, see what they have coming up next, and offer to be a sponsor of a giveaway for their next event. Whenever you give away a gift card or shopping spree, or anything to go with that, they put your shop in front of their audience, and you get eyeballs that you wouldn't normally have. So everybody wins. Oh, back. Okay. The other thing when you're working with any influencer is you want to be able to measure the results. So it's no good putting things out there and you're just like, let's see what sticks. We always want to be able to measure our results. So, what are your specific benchmarks for what is a success? And that's going to be different for everyone. But you need to create things like, if you're working with an influencer and they have a special code to give to their customers to use your shop, well, then you could have an influencer specific coupon code. You could create, if you have a photo contest with an influencer, or you're doing like the cave challenge that is happening right now with Cave Facet and Bernina. So they have specific hashtags so you can pull from that information. If you have an in-person event and you are going to support an influencer campaign that's online, create a guest list, encourage RSVPs, know who's coming, be able to track that, see who you contacted, are they a yes or a no? So some of those are just very basic things, but you can keep track of what the actual traffic is to your site, the sales are, what the traffic is in your shop, just by using some basic influencer specific collaboration or tags. The difference between a UGC and influencer, UGC is another term that I think people are becoming more aware of and gets thrown around a lot. UGC is user generated content. So the difference between UGC and an influencer is that an influencer has a big community and they create their content that they put out to their social channels, whether they have, a big Instagram following, they put their stuff out there, a big influencer on TikTok. UGC content, so user generated content, is something that is made, and then you as a shop owner, or as the sponsor, however you want to put it, put out through your channels. So this can be, using a photo prompt where you have a photo challenge, or it can be projects from knit alongs, sew alongs, quilt alongs, branded hashtags. If you have a hashtag for your shop that says, this is my maker of the month, and then you go search whatever your store hashtag is, hashtag Stitchcraft marketing. I will go look at all of those hashtags and say, okay, here are the people who are using this. They are part of our branded hashtag that we can utilize their content. Make sure that you get permission to repost or reuse their content. Um, the other thing with UGC is that you can partner, you can sort of thread the needle, right? So you want to have your influencers, you want to work with them, you want to have user generated content because people love that, because it feels authentic and people are going to buy from someone who is giving their honest opinion. You can look at who is in your community already and who can you help promote. It's a collaboration. Who can you help promote that may be a rising star, a rising influencer, that you can get some user generated content from on their way to becoming an influencer to help promote your business. How can you work together? You may be thinking, well, maybe I really don't want to do this. Just seems, not really the stuff I want to do. It seems like a lot of work. I'm fine on my own. The problem with that is that people want to trust people they know. So 61% of customers trust influencer recommendations, compared to 38% who trust brand produced content. I find this very interesting because people know that no matter who you are, that you are going to be selling to them. So they're going to trust someone who doesn't seem to be selling to them, but we know they are. So if they come across as a person instead of a brand, they are going to be more likely to be trusted. So pairing with that, UGC, user generated content, adding that to your marketing funnel, so all of your social communications, all of your media channels, creates a 29% increase in conversions. That is a nice hefty number to adjust and bump up your sales. So, running a photo contest, running a quilt along, running a knit along, and pulling the photos from that project is a great way to maintain that maybe the look that you want, making sure that it's on topic, but it is getting that sort of testimonial feel from your audience. The other main thing to think about is that influencers are so effective because they show up in a certain way. So, what can we learn from them? Even if we're not working with an influencer directly, what do they do that we can replicate? So, they have best practices. They create and publish consistent posts that are on topic. So, they have things in there as like, here's my dog, here's my kids, here's my recipes, but it is consistently in their niche. Like they may have a little of that extra content, but it is not all of their content. They know that they need to post all of the photos, all of the videos that are specific to what they're talking about and not having all of the fluff. They also interact. Their key thing is building a community. So it's no fun commenting on someone's post and then it's crickets. It's not a conversation. They have conversations, they interact. They don't do, as the kids say, post and ghost. We don't want to just throw it out there and then walk away. You need to foster those conversations, foster those relationships. They also show up where their customers are online. This is a little touchy because you may feel like, well, I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I don't need to be there. Oh, but your customers may be. So when you're looking at things, you may not need to have a heavy presence there, but maybe you have a little bit of a presence there. So people are afraid of short form video. They don't want to be in front of the camera. YouTube Shorts. Oh, I don't want to see my face. But are your customers there? Are they showing up there? Are they looking for tips there? You can do a whole lot with um, creating video in different ways, creating different text posts to give people information. Maybe you have a snow day. How are you going to get the notice out to people so they're not driving over to your shop in February in a blizzard? Hopefully they're not, but show up and give them information where they are. The big takeaway from an influencer is to treat it like a community. Everyone who follows you on all of your various social platforms, they are your friends. They're your close friend group. Treat them as such. They're not all your customers. They are. We want them to be, but we want them to feel like they are welcome. This is a community. So that means showing up and talking about things that are interesting and relevant to them. So, being consistent. It means making sure that there's conversations, and if they have a problem, don't just ignore it. It also means responding to them in the manner where they talk to you. So if it's someone that it's not a best practice to if they send you a message and they slide into your DMs, it's not great to send them an email back in a separate platform and be like, hey, this is what we're talking about. So talk to them how they want or where they want to be talked to. Make sure you're continuing conversation. Make sure you're doing things as an influencer would. So because really everyone can do influencer marketing. Everyone. Do we have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I'll stop recording here.